Hello and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. This is your match preview for Leicester City versus Portsmouth this weekend. A late kickoff, 7:45, I think it is, on Saturday evening at the King Power. We will, of course, as well be joined by a Pompey fan in literally just a matter of minutes, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Very, very interesting insight into Portsmouth this season, what to expect from them in this upcoming game. So I want just to start off by talking about Leicester at the moment and what I expect from this weekend. I mean, we had that, really tough run of draws. I think it was 4 draws, wasn't it, in a row, and we ended it with the win against Swansea. And I think that performance for the Swansea game was much improved. There were some real individual moments, which of course, kind of you think sometimes means it's unsustainable, right? You think maybe, well, if he didn't score that screamer, if JJ didn't score that screamer, if Fatawu didn't score that great goal, would we have won? And I do think we would have won. I think, we had more than enough in that game. We had more than enough chances to come away with the 3 points, and we did come away with the 3 points. And I think the Wrexham game, even the week before, was probably an improved performance. And I think there's enough signs there to say that there's progress. I think there's clear signs of progress. Marty's now had another 2 weeks to work with the squad, or the ones that didn't go on international duty. And talking of international duty, we have players who are coming back who were a clean bill of health. Abdul Fatawu, Jordan Ayew, others as well. Jordan James, of course, played some minutes for Wales. And they've come back without any injury. Touch wood, I believe, right? There's been nothing yet. So we should have a fully fit squad. You can check out the video from yesterday, which was Wednesday, Fox's Den, where we kind of do our best 11 with the guys. And I think that, my best 11 is what I would like to see this weekend against Pompey, and that would be Jakub Stolarczyk in goal. That would be Ricardo Pereira, Wout Faes, Yannick Vestergaard, and unfortunately Luke Thomas. I would say Harry Winks and Jordan James, Aaron Ramsey in the 10, Jeremy Monga on the left, Abdul Fatawu on the right, and I'm going to say Jordan Ayew still to start as the striker. I know in the last 2 games, Daka started as the striker, and I think off the ball he looked good. A lot of pressing, and I think he does bring a lot to the team. And Neil said it on the analysis this week that Daka probably makes the players around him look better. He just can't score, and he's got the first touch of a donkey, right? So that's obviously a problem. But I think that there's enough there, to be honest with you, from Jordan Ayew. And, yes, he is frustrating to watch. He sits deeper. He's quite slow. But I think in the second half of games, he kind of comes into the game more. And I think the link-up play is good. Sometimes needs to release the ball quicker. So that's the team I would go with. However, if Patson Daka did start, I wouldn't have any problems because, I saw enough from him off the ball to suggest, okay, maybe he is a good fit for the team around him. So, our wingers need to improve. I mean, Jeremy Monga didn't have he's not had the best of games recently, but he's still shown how fucking good he is. He's just incredible. So I'm looking forward to seeing more and more of him. I think Mavridi's actually injured, so he will miss this game. So that means Monga is a certain to start unless Bobby Decordova-Reid plays or starts. We could see Reid on the left and Monga coming off to impact the game later on. I don't know, but my team, what I read out, is what I would go with this weekend. I think we'll control the game. I think we will concede because it's just what we kind of do sometimes, do quite often. So I'm going for a 2-1 Leicester win, but you'll hear that prediction again in a second when we speak to Jake, the Portsmouth fan. So go check out Jake on Express FM and a local Portsmouth station. Such a good guy, nice guy, and he gave us a lot of insight into Portsmouth. So here it is. That's coming up next. We'll see you on the watch along on the weekend on Saturday. Now, I'm glad to say we've been joined by Portsmouth fan Jake. Jake, before we get into it, could you let everybody know kind of what you do, where they can find you as well?
Yeah, so very proud to be hosting a show called The Football Hour and also Pompey Live on Express FM, community radio station serving Portsmouth. It is one of the current sort of longest serving community stations actually about, and we're very lucky to have been to some national awards over the last few years as well, so I just want to plug that. But no, you can find us on Express FM. We're online and we've got our very own app coming back soon as well. So I've been doing it for it's my 7th, 8th season now. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Brilliant stuff. Well, let's get into it, mate. I mean, I want to start by kind of rewinding all the way back to the start of the season, and I wanted to ask you kind of what your expectations were for Portsmouth coming into the season at the start.
Yeah, I mean, look, last season was all about consolidating in the league. First year back up, of course, you just want to stay above the dotted line. You want to finish 21st and above, and if you survive on goal difference on the final day, then that's a win. Um, of course, we finished 16th. We achieved that survival with 2 games to spare last year, and I think this season would be a case of just maybe a bit more of the same. Try and push on, try and really build on what we managed to do last season. Um, but at the same time, then maybe there is a bit of renewed optimism because in flashes and in periods last season, particularly towards the very end, with results going our way, we look like a decent outfit. And with a few additions in the summer, which of course the jury is out on some of them, but I think overall we've recruited pretty okay, and we've certainly strengthened the team both in terms of depth and quality as well. I don't think there's any reason why we can't kick on and maybe finish even higher than 16th. I'm not talking, a playoff push or maybe not even top half, but if we can try and just finish, I think that's the aim. I think just try and finish above 16th. Of course, first and foremost, it's try not to get sucked into any relegation battle because
Yeah.
that can happen to any team, and we've got to sort of keep ourselves grounded and know that that is still a very real possibility. But I think realistically, given the quality we've got, especially in attack, this isn't a side that should be relegated, and I'm hoping that's not going to be clipped up at the end of the season and used against me. But no, I think we've got the legs in us to try and kick on.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you as well about a couple of players. I mean, Chaplin, who joined you. I think that that definitely raised my eyebrow. I wanted to just ask how his start to the season has been in the opening 9 games.
Yeah, raised everyone's eyebrows down here as well. We sort of talk about former players all the time, and oh, you kind of wish you had so and so back, and oh, if only they came back as well. And Connor Chaplin was always one of those names. Left us, kicked on in the Premier League as well. Valuable experience in the Championship, and thought, oh, okay, he's probably never going to come back unless he gets into his sort of late 30s and wants to retire back at the club. But maybe he came through the academy. But look, it hasn't been the easiest of starts for Connor Chaplin. I can't hide that. He made his second debut away at Southampton, so massive game, South Coast derby. Good point for us on the road, good clean sheet as well. He didn't set the world alight in that game, but it wasn't the most entertaining fixtures anyway. But you take that point and move. But in games that followed that, we lost to Sheffield Wednesday at home. I think every player to a man put in a bad performance that day, so you couldn't really single him out. Watford at home didn't do an awful lot. Ipswich away, obviously couldn't play because it was against his parent club. And then he was on the bench for Middlesbrough at home, our previous game, which we won. Yeah, he could have had a better start to the season, but it's not been bad. I don't know. It's just taken a bit of time for him to really find his foot again back at Portsmouth Football Club. And I think once he gets maybe that first goal or first assist or something like that, then yeah, I'm sure he'll kick on because he's much better than Portsmouth at the current sort of expectation we spoke about earlier.
Well, another player that Leicester fans have had his name on their lips, I think, in the last couple of months was Josh Murphy,
Mm,
because there was a very bizarre kind of transfer saga going on at the, earlier in the summer because it sounded like Leicester were in for him, and I think someone on the Portsmouth end said that wasn't the case, and apparently we'd bid and it had been rejected. First of all, did you hear anything about that? Like, do you know if Leicester were actually in for him?
it's difficult, isn't it? Because you sort of hear from one sort of reputable source, but yes, there was a bid, or at least there's interest in Josh Murphy from Leicester, and then you sort of hear it from another one that's sort of pretty close to the club, and it's very quickly squashed. And oh no, there was never any interest, or there was never any bid. Um, I think it would be maybe naive to sit here and say there wasn't interest.
Mm,
Play like Josh Murphy after the season he had last year, there's no way he's gone throughout that entire summer transfer window and no
yeah.
one's inquired about him. So of course that's probably happened. Whether it's Leicester City or not, I don't know. But I think what's the old saying? You can't start a fire without, I don't know. without a spark, isn't
No,
it, or
no,
something like
no,
that.
no smoke without fire. No smoke
That's it.
without fire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no smoke
yeah,
without fire. So it's come from somewhere, hasn't it?
yeah.
And yeah, I can't sort of necessarily categorically say that. Yeah, there's definitely a bid, but I'd say there probably was. But look, he's a great player, and I think for your sake, you'll be hoping he's not playing this weekend because he is a doubt.
Yes, I mean I did see that he has been injured. So he's missed some games there. I mean, tell us a little bit about him because I think a lot of Leicester fans actually were kind of unsure on the idea of him coming in, but I think he's a really good player at this level, of course. If he is available, is he one of the main ones that Leicester fans should look out for then?
Oh yeah, he's the main one. I mean,
Okay.
you know, our forward line is I think brilliant. I mean, with everyone fit on paper, Josh Murphy, Callum Lang, of course, he's out injured, so he won't be featuring this weekend. Connor Chaplin on his day, of course. Throw in Adrian Segicic, of course, we signed from the Australian League in the summer, and Colby Bishop up top. He's not had a great start to the season, Colby. It's taken a bit of time for him to again get up and running. But yeah, Josh Murphy's been absolutely standout from our perspective as a side of it's just come up really. Getting him on a free from Oxford United, a fellow promoted side. He's now sort of coming up to his 30s or just got into his 30s. I would kind of be in a similar boat to you or Leicester fans in the way of if I was a supporter of a club that had just come down from the Premier League, your ambitions are to go straight back up,
Yeah.
and you've been linked with a player with all due respect and as good as he is in his 30s that has just signed a year ago as a free agent from a club that have just come up from League One. He's had one good season in the Championship, and there's a floated figure of in excess of £7 to maybe £8 million. I'll be sat there going, no, no. Why would you throw that money at a player that is a massive punt, and you're probably not going to get a return on because he's at that stage of his career. So I'd be apprehensive about that as well. But from our point of view, we're just talking about surviving and maybe kicking on from last season. So it's great to have a club, and if we can get a bit of money for him maybe next season or the season after. He's just signed a new contract till 2028, so hopefully that will give us a bit of leverage in that aspect. But no, he is the standout player. There's no doubt about that.
Well, going into the game, I mean, you guys are currently sat 14th in the table, 5 points behind Leicester. You're off the back of a very good 3 points as well, against Middlesbrough, who have had a good start to the season. Going into this game, I mean, the question I suppose I wanted to ask you, which will be beneficial for anyone viewing this, would be how you expect Portsmouth to kind of set up against Leicester, a team that will want to control the game. They'll want to attack. They'll want to dominate the ball, I suppose. How do you see Portsmouth setting up?
I think sort of formation wise, there's no real going away from that 4-2-3-1. John Messina and a lot of managers nowadays do opt for that formation, so that's pretty nailed on. With or without Josh Murphy, it's very much the intention with most games for Portsmouth is to go out there and attack. We're not going to sit 10 men behind the ball. We're not necessarily going to go route one unless, of course, the game or the state of the game dictates, but maybe we need to if we're struggling in the opening stages. Then of course you adapt and you try something else. But from the offset, it's going to be pressure. Try and press down that Leicester defence. Try and make it uncomfortable. We want to come to the King Power and silence the Leicester fans. That's not something that we're going to do. We're not going to put 10 men behind the ball and just go, do you know what, come at us, because we've had that before. Even under John Messina, there's been games where that has happened, and we've really been the architects of our own downfall in that respect. So, yeah, I think you'll see bravery, commitment, and a team that will go out there trying to get the win because they know they can. Because, as you referenced, we beat Middlesbrough last time out. At the time, they were unbeaten, top of the league. So if you can do that, then essentially you can beat anyone. Last season, we beat Leeds United at home. We drew 3-3 away from home on the opening day at Ellen Road. We could have won that game. We could have lost it. We got results against Burnley at Fratton Park, Sheffield United at Fratton Park. Admittedly, not many away results last season. But my point being, when we come up against the so-called big boys in the division, and Leicester are no doubt one of those, we do tend to up our game a little bit and make it difficult. we're in that frustrating period now where, again, you referenced the Middlesbrough result, but we lost to Sheffield Wednesday, who
Yeah.
are, on and off the pitch in turmoil. That's kind of where we're at now. It wouldn't surprise me if we have a really good run against Leicester. We've got Coventry next Tuesday night, and then we've got Stoke at home the following Saturday. They've had a good start to the season. It wouldn't surprise me if we got a good run against those lot and then go and lose to a side that are in the bottom five.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think as what you said is bang on there, because I think Leicester are very much they're quite fragile at times when you do get teams rocking up at the King Power and they just up their game. I mean, we saw it 2 years ago when we were relegated under Enzo Maresca, and we've seen it this season. I mean, when Sheffield Wednesday on the opening day of the season they turned up, obviously there were Leicester fans saying, "Oh, 5-6, 7-0, what's it going to be?" And we did get the points, but we were like, "Oh, hello, they're putting some good stuff together here." So. It's one of them, and it's Championship football. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if you got a result from this game. But I think Leicester, they certainly should be aiming for the 3 points. I think, especially at home in this game. We've spoken about a couple of Portsmouth players. I mean, what players in the Leicester squad are you aware of, and that worry you a little bit going into this one?
Well, I mean, Fatawi, of
Yeah,
course, the standout Hamza Chowdhury, brilliant, brilliant play still. Leicester, isn't he? Hamza Chowdhury.
yeah.
I'll get that wrong, am I? Blimey.
No, it's still that.
Yeah. So I mean, look, it's a squad filled with players that are just any of them walk into our side.
Yeah.
Mavadidi as well, and I remember that standout season he had in the Championship when you guys got promoted last time around as well. Aaron Ramsey on loan from Burnley. That's somebody that quite interests me. Has he had much game time this season? I'm not quite sure, to be quite honest with you, about that.
Yeah, no, you're right in picking him out, because I think he's one that Leicester fans are still like,
Yeah.
we haven't seen enough of it. He made his debut, and he got sent off within 20 minutes,
Right. So
with a
waiting for him
terrible challenge.
waiting for him to kick on. So that's the kind of player that he's got a point to prove, isn't he, to the Leicester fans? And if he's starting or playing on Saturday against Portsmouth, then he'll be one that I'll be keeping an eye on, because he has got that point to prove. And if you can do that against an inconsistent Portsmouth side and really sort of kickstart his career on loan at Leicester, then that'd be something that would worry me. But from 1 to 11, any player probably walks into that Portsmouth squad. So, but those would be sort of 2 or 3 that I'd look out for. I'm just disappointed you don't have Jamie Vardy anymore.
Oh, yeah. I mean, has he? So he's never played against Port. Well, probably has. Has he ever played against Portsmouth?
Hmm. I don't.
Maybe
No, I'm not
not.
sure, because when did you sign him?
We signed him in 2012.
Our last meeting was 2011.
Yeah, so unless you played Fleetwood or something in the cup, maybe, I don't know, but
We'd have played you in 2011. That was our last game against you guys. You signed Jamie Vardy in 2012, and we'd have started playing Fleetwood in 2013, 2014. So just at that sort of crossover period where, it wasn't to be.
yeah, I was just looking as well. I mean, you mentioned on your show the last time we played each other, I think David Nugent scored in that game as well.
Yeah.
A player that is popular within most amongst most both fan bases. Right, finally, we've always got to end it this way. Score prediction for the game.
Ooh, I've given my score prediction on our show throughout the course of the season. I've been pretty much wrong every single time. Delightfully wrong last time. I said Middlesbrough were going to beat us 2-0, and we won 1-0. So I'm going to use that same reverse psychology and also go a bit realistic. And Leicester City are going to pump us 3-0 in the hope
3-0. Wow.
that's completely wrong.
Yeah, maybe 3-0 Portsmouth. No, I'm going to go to, yeah. I mean, I said it on your show. 2-1 Leicester. I think we'll definitely concede. We're still a little bit, shaky at the back at times. And I mean, if Murphy plays, who knows what will happen? But yeah, we'll wait and see. Jake, thank you so much for joining me, mate. Much appreciated, and good luck for the season after this weekend, mate.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Big shout out to our new sponsor, The Beautiful Frame. They have absolutely smashed it with this Jamie Vardy piece. They're a local Leicester business as well, which makes it even better. And not just Leicester, they do prints for other clubs too. Honestly, perfect if you're stuck for a birthday or Christmas present. The best bit, they've sorted Blue Tinted Glasses followers with a discount. Just use the code BTG12 at checkout for money off. Grab yours now at thebeautifulframe.com. The link is in the description of the video.